Alright, so boom. Hey y'all, while I was editing this video, I realized that it's kind of a lengthy video in comparison to my other videos. And while it is filled with information, I understand that you might not want to sit up for 30 minutes and watch a full length of a video. So I suggest you click down below in the settings, and you can speed the video up either like 1.25, 1.5, or even 2 times the speed. So this 30-minute video will turn into a 15-minute video if you watch it at 2 times the speed, or just speed it up a little bit and you won't have to watch it for like 30 minutes. That's my spill. Okay.
Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. It's Kiera. If you're new here, welcome. You're probably new here, but if not, welcome back. It's been a minute. This video was inspired by a tweet that I saw on Twitter that kind of, not ruffled feathers, but gained a lot of traction, which I'm probably gonna end up deleting because honestly, it's just so much negativity. And I'm like, eh. First, Karen Civil posted a study and said, did you know that an estimated $1.7 billion will be spent on influencer marketing? And that micro-influencers with as little as 500 followers can request up to $700 an Instagram ad per campaign. So somebody quoted it and they said, no brand is going to pay someone with 500 followers $700 a post. That's just unrealistic. And so I was like, well, when I first started, I had a small number of followers. And I remember my first paid, well, it wasn't my first paid. It was like one of the first bigger payments. Because those like $25, we'll send you $10. It wasn't one of those. It was like, hey, here's a contract and we'll be sending a check to your bank account very shortly. And I was like, oh, bet. You shouldn't say that because that's like very unmotivating to up and coming influencers. I was like, my first paid partnership was this much money and I had this many followers. And so of course everybody was like, how'd you get that many? How'd you get that much money? How'd you go about finding that sponsorship? My DMs literally froze because I had so many questions. I gained so many followers, which was weird. It was just really weird. And so I was like, well, the best way to do this is to just make a YouTube video. So here I am. So a little bit about me. I am Kiera Nelson. I am a current senior at North Carolina A&T State University studying mass media production. Before I came to A&T, I was actually a Howard Bison at Howard University for my freshman and sophomore year. So all throughout my college journey, I have been an HBCU student. I just been into HBCUs. I also have a branding company called Natural Boss Branding, and yeah, I do that. And I also do YouTube, blogging, the podcast, literally any media outlet, I do it. And so I have a list of questions here that people ask me, and I'm going to answer them to my best ability without, disclosing like private information that may still be held up in contracts. So if I don't say a name, it's because I legally can't. So first question is, how do you manage to secure these partnerships for these collabs? So in my experience, I've been pretty lucky with my partnerships because a lot of times they reach out to me. I don't reach out to them. I think I probably had one partnership that I reached out and I really wanted the product, and I was just trying to kind of get the exposure at the time. So they sent me the product in exchange for a video, and I was like, I was fine with that at the time. I was like, oh, this is cool because I got the product for free. I get to talk about it. I get to put people on. But majority of the time they've reached out to me. So my audience is very niche. If you're not new here, I focus on HBCU content, personal branding, and natural hair. Period. Sometimes I'll go do like travel vlogs if I'm traveling, but other than that, it's a video of those 3. And so, yeah. So majority of the time they reach out to me. And, but if they don't reach out to me, I have worked through agencies before. There are several. That's usually how people get partnerships, through agencies. So companies will hire agencies to scope out influencers to hire for the company. So there are several agencies that I've used before. The 3 top ones that I use, well, I don't even know if they would be considered agencies. I know one's an agency for sure, and it's Influencer Collective. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of her campus, like the the college news outlet that like every college has like a chapter and they write articles and stuff. Great thing. I was a part of it. I was a social media director at my old school. But yeah, they have an influencer agency through her campus, and it's called Influence Her Collective. And I'll have the link to that in the description. And that's where I've gotten most of my paid partnerships that I've done. That was like whoa, I didn't know I could do this. I think I remember getting like 3 of them, and I was like, I could have probably gotten this without this agency. And then another one that I use, it's actually like an ambassadorship program I'm a part of. It's called Impressions of Beauty. I'm going to put their website in the description below as well. But they are mainly like bringing college beauty to campuses, and you know, they do like pop-ups and they give away free products, and they send us products to promote throughout the year for different companies. So when you see me promote natural hair and makeup and stuff, it's usually through them. And then a lot of times I'll get paid opportunities through them. I've worked with just so like literally, if you scroll through these YouTube channels, you can see the people who I've worked with in the past, and those have been like consistent flows of income for me. Especially being in college, being a full-time college student, I don't really have time to make money outside of my business, so doing those partnerships really helps with that. Other agencies that I've heard of, Beauty Bee NYC, I've worked with them before. I don't know if they're as active. I think they still are. I'm going to put their website below as well. Second question. That was a really long answer, my bad. Second question. Do you manage influencers? No, I don't. I'm not an influencer manager. I'm not an influencer partner. I don't help people get influence. You know, I don't help them get partnerships and stuff. Brittany Bright, if you follow her on Twitter, it's funny because when I was looking at my resources to do this video, I found that I was subscribed to her newsletter like for the past 3 years, when she was doing her like personal newsletter about marketing, and she was sending out opportunities, and they were like all in my promotions, so I'm kind of mad that I didn't jump on them at the time. But if you follow her on Twitter, she has her own brand called the Influencer League, where she literally like helps amp up your influencer performance and literally helps you secure like the best brand deals for the best money. She helps you negotiate. She literally helps you become like a better influencer and helps you get your coins. So I'm going to link her socials in the description box as well, because she's just a bright resource, and I love seeing her post on the timeline. She's always throwing gems. She's always like, hey, here's a quick tip. If you're, you know, working with the company, this is what you should be doing, blah, blah, blah. What are some tips to gain partnerships with the company? So there are a few, you know, good ways to gain partnerships with a company, but one of the primary things that I would say is to make sure that your audience and your brand values line up with that company's. Because there have been lots of times, I'm sure you've seen the stories of people who are like, yeah, people want me to sell hair, promote their hair, but I don't even wear weave. Like, that's happened so many times. And even when I was starting early, I was getting like hair sent to me, and I'm like, I don't wear this. There was one opportunity that I did rock it because it was like an HBCU campaign, and I was like, this is for a good cause, you know, so I'm gonna wear it. And I was like, never again. Not even in a bad way. It was just like I just wasn't comfortable doing it. My followers knew I didn't wear weave. They was like, we like the look on you, Key, but I was like, I don't, and this feels so fake. And so make sure your values align with theirs. Make sure, you know, if you're saying that you are, you know, vegan, and that means like no use of like animal, like cruelty-free stuff, make sure you're promoting cruelty-free stuff. Don't go promote a brand that tests on animals, you know, things like that. Just make sure that your values align with theirs. Be professional when you communicate with these people. There were so many people in my DMs who were like, yeah, you know, I comment under their pictures and I DM them and I'm like, hey, I want to, you know, do a partnership. But honestly, they're not gonna see that. They might see it, but the person who's seeing that probably doesn't have much influence over their influencer marketing. So you would be best to reach out through email, either their public relations email. So there's usually like a PR@so-and-so email. You can find it on their website. You just really have to look. You have to look for it. It's usually in the footer, and it's usually like a work with us or like a collab tab that you could click, and it's like it'll be like, yeah, you can email us here. And then that's where you email your pitch versus, you know, DMing them on Instagram, because their social media manager and their influencer marketing manager is probably not the same person. To gain a partnership or at least start a good relationship with the brand is to use their hashtags. So I know I said don't DM them, like don't comment on their post like, hey, I want to do a collab. But it's great to use the company's hashtags because they do look at their hashtags. From personal experience, I know that my friend, she works with a really good hair care company, and so they will look at the hashtag and see like who's posting our content, like who's getting these really good results and this really good engagement, who can we potentially work with, just because they've used their hashtag in their posts. So like, if you know, using certain earrings like these are the new bamboo earrings. I'm gonna plug her in the comments just because I love these earrings. So say she's looking for people to partner with. Every time I wear these earrings, I hashtag the new bamboo and I tag it. So say she's looking for people to partner with, she clicks her hashtag and she's scrolling and she sees like, oh, Kiara has this many followers. She has a pretty good engagement rate and she posts really good content that lines up with my brand. I'm gonna reach out to her and see if she wants to do a paid collaboration. Boom. All because of a hashtag. So make sure if you're using their product or you're talking about their product in your post that you're using their hashtag. That doesn't mean that you go hashtag every single post as their brand, because that's how you get put on a no-fly list. It's not gonna cut it. Establish a relationship. That's a big one for me. A lot of times I've gotten my paid partnerships because of the work that I've done in the past. So a lot of times people will recommend me for opportunities. They'll be like, yeah, you know, we worked with Kiera about 2 years ago doing so-and-so. She was really good. You guys should, you know, reach out to her. Here's her email. And then they'll email me and they'll be like, hey, so-and-so told us that you worked with them a few years ago and you did a great job. We want to work with you too. Or, you know, even if you're working with an agency, the good communication is always key, because they're going to remember you from the past. They're going to remember the work you put in, your results, how great you displayed your content. And then when, you know, that next partnership comes along, they're like, she would be perfect for that. Let's contact her again. It's all about the relationship. So always keep that in mind when you're communicating with these people, when you're working with these people, when it's time to deliver on the content, all of that. Just keep that in mind, because that can literally be the determining factor between you getting that partnership and you never working with that company again. Next question. How did you determine their target audience and know that you had over 75% of their audience? So this one is asking about the partnership that I did. Honestly, when they sent me their information that like they wanted me to work with them with, they were like, hey, we need HBCU students at your school to come and interact with this. Literally all of my audience was from my school, but mostly everybody was from my school, so it was like no further details were needed, because I knew that, hey, all of my followers have this same school's hashtag in their bio, because we all follow each other, because this is how I started my brand. So it wasn't really that hard. But when it comes to dealing with other brands and, you know, dealing with their specific audience, I would say just kind of look at their page, see who they're marketing to. So if you see that they're kind of marketing towards older women, I wouldn't try and collab with them, because I'm not in that age range, and me promoting their products probably wouldn't line up to what my age group is looking to use, you know. Whereas maybe I'm trying to collab with, just for example, like a comforter company who makes twin size and twin XL size comforters for college students. That would be great for me, because most of my demographics are college students or prospective college students. So me promoting that brand would help, you know, college students be like, oh, that's a cool brand. I'm gonna remember them from Kiera's post. And then that just creates buyers, and that's ultimately the end goal of the partnership. How did you get started being an influencer on IG? This is funny because it was low-key like a whole accident. If you're new to my channel, then you haven't heard this before, but if you aren't new, then you have. I started my YouTube channel as a way to keep my family members in the know when it came to me being in college. So I make like weekly vlogs like, hey, this is what I'm doing in school right now. just so I wouldn't have to update my family and friends on Facebook all the time. I'll just be like, hey, here's my latest YouTube video. But because it was such a popular school that I went to, a lot of people was like just looking for Howard based YouTube videos, and they saw me making these Howard vlogs, and they're like, oh, she's a cool person to follow, I'm gonna subscribe. And it just kind of went from there. It really just grew because I was like, I don't know where all these people, like, I didn't understand analytics, I didn't understand search engine optimization at the time. I was like, I don't know where these people are coming from, but they like my content, so I'm gonna keep making it. And then it kind of turned into me creating like a community where people didn't really have the resources to understand what they needed to go to college, to go to HBCU specifically. So I would make those videos like, hey, maybe you can't come to our campus, here's a tour of the dorms. You know, here's a cool day on campus that we always do that you can look forward to. I'll vlog that for you. And so it just became like that. And then I just started vouching for HBCUs all over, you know, working with other HBCU content creators. And it just grew from there. And then I transferred to A&T and had a little bit of content focused around A&T, and, you know, people just subscribed from there. So it kind of just, it grew gradually on its own. I'm at like 6.8K right now, which is great. I love the growth. It's very slow and steady and good enough for me. I just, and that's how would you advise that I go about partnering with brands as a service provider? So this person was a photographer, but I had marked like videographer, product designer, and stuff like that in my notes. So as far as partnerships with that, I haven't had any type of experience with that on my personal brand, like Kiera Nelson. But I have seen people, this collaboration that I did with Nike and Jordan, they hired a freelance photographer to take pictures of the model in the shoes that they were releasing for All-Star Weekend. And so the photographer and the model were both like found through social media because they were looking for local photographers. So, you know, it was in Charlotte, so they probably were searching for like Charlotte photographers, Charlotte models, Charlotte freelancers, and they saw these people, and so they looked through these people, found who they wanted, and found them that way. So for that, I always say use hashtags and make sure you're just connected throughout your community, because you'll never know who's going to want to plug you when that opportunity comes along, who's going to be like, oh, I know they do photography, here's their info, you can reach out to them there, and boom, you have a partnership just like that. How are you able to have leverage in the partnership since you had such a small amount of followers at the time? Honestly, I think, like I said, I think I'm a special case because my audience was so niche, and companies were really trying to come and, you know, show their face on HBCU campuses, and they will always visit Howard and A&T. So anytime they would visit Howard or A&T, they would, you know, search A&T YouTubers, Howard YouTubers, and I would be one of the first to pop up in their search engines just because I made videos, I made blog posts, I talked about my HBCU all the time. And so that's how they found me, and they saw that I was such great value because of where I went to school and the people I could attract to come and see or do whatever it was that they wanted us to do. How did they reach out to you? A lot of times they reach out to me through email. I have a personal website, kieranelson.co. So they would, you know, go to my website and they would be like, oh, and I have a contact me tab, so they would literally click it, put in their information and a little bit about what it is that they want to talk to me about. And then from there, I'll usually set up a call or, you know, email back and forth. I like to email to keep a paper trail, but yeah. And then sometimes they'll DM and they'll be like, hey, you'll know if it's legit. They'll be like, hey, we want to talk about a sponsorship or a collaboration with you. Here's our email, or what's your email? What's the best way to reach you? Things like that. They'll never, in my experience, nobody has ever, no serious collaboration has ever commented under my post and been like, hey, let's collab, DM us, because those are usually automated, and stay away from those. What's the best method to reach out when presenting yourself? Email. Same thing like I just said. I think the best way to communicate is through email. I don't like DMs because I get them a lot. So it's easy to get lost in the DMs. And two, like, I don't know, just something about, it's like professionalism is like email /website contact. And then there's like DM, and then there's like comment. I don't like this. I like this. How do you negotiate when brands try to reach out by sending you stuff for exposure or brand ambassadorships? Y'all, I used to have this issue so much when I was starting off, because I was like, everybody was like, we'd love to send you free product in exchange for a video for exposure. I was like, yeah, I love free product. Like, if you really want that product, I don't say, you know, decline the offer, because when I was first growing, I was like, oh, this is an amazing opportunity for growth. Like, I can do this. So I did that for like 2 times, and then I was like, all right, this is taking a lot of time to make these videos. I should be getting paid for this. And then they would need edits and stuff. I was like, oh no. So I started with a rate sheet, and it was low at first. Like, I was like $10, $15, and then I realized my worth, because I sent it to a company and they were like, girl, you need to raise your prices. Here's what we're gonna pay you, but for next time, raise your prices so that companies don't take advantage of you. I was like, bet. So now when people reach out to me, if I really want to work with the company, they'll email me and they'll be like, hey, we want to work with you, blah, blah, blah. We'll send you this for this. And I'll be like, hey, you know, that sounds like a great idea. This collaboration sounds like a perfect fit for my brand. I have a rate sheet that is attached. It has my products. It has my prices along with the services that I'll deliver for the partnership. If you could review it and get back to me when you can. Now, if they're not wanting to pay you, they will not email you back, or they will and they'll be like, unfortunately, we don't have the budget for influencer marketing at the time. I'll be like, okay, that's fine. I ain't tripping. That's cool. Y'all can go email somebody else. Or they'll reach out and they'll be like, hey, so we talked about it and we want to go with this package. We're looking forward to seeing your deliverables. And then you have a partnership. But don't accept these, you know, we'll send you for free exposure. Or better yet, don't accept the ones that are like, you can buy our product at a 10% discount code. Here's your ambassador code. You don't get no revenue or commissions though. You just get the code. Share it with your followers. Because a lot of times they just hiked up their prices. So that 10% code that you're going to use to buy their product is going to mark it down to original price. And then you're going to buy their product, promote it. And then they're getting, you know, they're getting all this money, but you're not getting nothing. And you spent money on their product. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Don't fall for the okie doke. How do you manage marketing your brand on social media and mental wellness? This one is kind of like a ooh question, because there have been times, the person that sent that question, they're referring to imposter syndrome. They said that they saw their friends like with similar niches and similar audiences. They saw them getting all these paid partnerships, but they wouldn't receive anything. Like, they wouldn't receive any responses. They get ghosted on. So for that, I just have to say that, you know, there's an audience out there for everybody, and there's a partnership out there for everybody. You just have to know your niche and know, you know, how to communicate with these people. Keep in touch. Even if you don't hear back from them, feel free to follow up. It's okay to follow up. And then also, just don't compare yourself and your results to others, because your two journeys are not the same. They never will be. And what one person might be doing, that might be their cool path, but you might have to go another path, and that's completely okay. But for mental wellness, because social media is like toxic, I hate that word, but it's literally like, it can be really hard if you let it get to you. Even with the tweet that I did, like, people were DMing me like, you lying, like, you dumb, you didn't do this, you just gaslighting people, you giving people false hope. I'm like, no, I have the checks to prove, I have the check stubs. But, you know, if I was the type of person to let that get to me, then I could take a big toll on my mental health. So one thing that I do personally, I filter my Twitter results. Like, I filter who can mention me, whose mentions I see, who can retweet me and DM me. Like, I filter it all. I open my DMs to the public because of the tweet that I did. I was like, send me questions. But after, like, I probably got 250 some questions, and I was like, yeah, this is a lot. I'm gonna turn these off now. Well, you guys, that was a very long Q&A, but I think it was much needed. for what people have been saying on Twitter and social media. Just because you haven't gotten paid a lot of money, or just because you haven't, you feel like you haven't reached your mountaintop of influencing, doesn't mean that you're not going to get there at some point. Just, keep making your content, keep being great. One day your content is going to be recognized by somebody. And, appreciate where you are now, because you don't really realize how much goes into having like a huge following. I don't even consider myself having a huge following. I consider myself a micro influencer, but even as like a huge influencer, people are expecting videos out of you all the time. They're expecting content all the time. So make sure that when you get to that point that you're able to, stand by that, and that you can honor that, because you can lose subscribers and followers as quick as you can gain them. And that is something I don't think a lot of people think about. Just like I said, appreciate where you are right now, because one day you're going to look back and be like, dang, at one point I really had 20 subscribers. That was cool. I had my own little community. And we were having a good time. And now I have like 20,000 people and only 2,000 watch my videos. And now my engagement sucks. Soak in who your audience is now. Soak in the people who interact with your content and love your content now. Don't go looking for other people's audiences, because their audience might not like your stuff. But just appreciate the people who like it now, and take advantage of them, but take advantage of the opportunities that gives you. And when you have something great to say, or you have great content, it'll spread naturally, and it'll spread so organically. People will be like, hey, have you checked out this cool YouTuber? Like, she makes these cool videos. And they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna go check her out. And then they'll say something to the next person, and that's just how you gain that organic growth, versus, trying to go viral overnight, because that's dead. That's dead. Viral days, cut that out. That's why, that's dead. I don't even wish for that anymore. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because I'm planning out more videos now, but this one just kind of came urgently, because I was like, well, I tweeted my goods. I can't not share how I did it with my folks. So, yeah. So that's how I did that. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. My email's in my bio. My email's in the description box as well. The DMs have been a little overwhelming, so I'm probably going to end up shutting those off. But if you're like on Instagram or anything, it's at Kiera Nelson, @ Kiera Nelson on everything. So if you want to reach out to me there, that's fine. I'll probably end up opening the DMs once everything kind of dims down, because honestly right now it's a lot, because it's just a lot of negativity in the DMs. I'm that person. I'm like, what they say? Enjoyed this video? Let me know if you like this content, because this is really what I'm trying to transition towards. Not specifically influencing, but more like personal branding, how to build your brand and stuff. I think my next video actually might be like building my media kit. So if you guys want to do like a walkthrough of that, or like how to build a media kit, let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next video.